having us. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank you for having me, man.
You want to ask you a question, Pheelz, like, where does that name come from? What's the essence, the idea behind that name, Pheelz?
Um, my chemistry teacher actually gave me that name in secondary school. It was one of the coolest teachers that I knew. His name is Jericho Sparks. So that's a cool name by default. And he always called me Phil. But then when I got to Coded Tunes, Olamide added the Z at the end. It was like, oh, call it Phils instead. It sounds cooler that way. And I'm like, oh, all right, let's go.
So, like, is there any, like, emotional aspect to that name as well? Like, the idea of the name Pheelz?
Um, I think it, I think I accepted that name because of emotions. Because I remember that was how I fell in love with music in the first instance. I still remember when I was 5. I can never forget. And I had like a one-on-one encounter with music for the first time and how it made people feel, and and how it like controls emotions and yeah. So yeah, fuck with that still. 100.
So, what are 3 things that you feel are most important to you as an individual?
As an individual, it'll be my mind, my my creativity, and my family. Yeah.
Any elaboration on why those 3 together?
Because I have to put my mind in check. Because I feel like the mind is a very good slave, but not a good master. Because when you get into the deep end really early in life and like really young, like I feel like to some extent I never really had a childhood because I never really like had like a normal or teenage childhood into like young adult type. Now I made my first hit when I was 16, so I became like an A-list producer when I was 16, and and that messed with my mind a lot because then like it took a lot of growth. So since then I've been working on my mind and making my mind really important to me and just keeping it under control and on the wraps. And my creativity, because bro, that's my source, man. That's me. That's who I am. That's how I move. Um, I would never stop creating until the day I die. Like that's my goal. You get me? And family, because bro, family is everything, man.
Who or what do you look to in terms of frustration?
In terms of frustration, over the years it changes from time to time. At the point in time, I had friends, to look to and friends to like, cause bro, I had like stages that I was going to give up. To be honest, like I was done. You get, but I had friends that like, pull me back on track and say, oh, yo, bro, no, don't worry, you're actually good at this shit. Just keep going. And sometimes my mom, but recently books. I feel like books saved me from a lot of frustration and depression. Um, yeah, because I read a lot, and there were some books that I feel like the universe has like put in my path that has just changed my life. If you say read and you go fear, but but yeah, those things.
Amazing. You mentioned your mother, so like, tell us about your household and growing up in that household. What did you see? What did you experience?
Um, Growing up was very inside. It was very normal. Like growing up for me was just school, church, house, school. Like that was the triangle literally. Thank God for music because music saved me from all that boredom. But but yeah, growing up was fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade my family or my parents for anything. But it was very controlled because my dad is a pastor and I'm a pastor's kid, PK for short. Um, and he brought me up in like the way of the Lord, and bro, I was a Bible scholar from like 8. I was taking Sunday schools from like 12. Like I was on a Jesus path at some point. It was crazy, but I wouldn't trade that for anything because that made me the man I am today and gave me the mind that I have today. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and obviously you've come a long way from then till now to where you're at this point. So, what did you leave behind to be where you are today?
what did I leave behind? Fear. Yeah, I was really scared, and it has. I think that happened to me because of the people I was around with at the time. Like the first time I got into the industry, I think I had some really bad experiences and some really deep scars, and that just made me run into my shell and just hide from the world. For a long time, it has been just my sound out there, and my face was not even out there because I was really, because it was just fear. But recently, I just kicked that in the butt, man, and just dropped that behind. And since then, I've just been, yeah.
Going up.
Yeah.
Amazing. And yeah, speaking of coming a long way, where you are from is Nigeria. So what part of Nigeria, for those that don't know, are you from? And tell us about.
I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. I grew up in Ojo, Ojo to the world. Yeah, Ojo is it's not the ghetto, but it's the ghetto.
So,
And yeah.
So what are Ojo people known for? What's in Nigeria? What are they?
Bro, Ojo people are known for their resilience and their courage and their street smarts. I mean, Bella Shmoda is from Ojo, Pokoli is from Ojo. Like we're the three of us are representing Ojo to the world at this point. But yeah, we're known for our street smarts, our resilience, and we're a special breed, man. We don't take no for an answer. Like we always, hustle our way out, and we grew up hustling, and we still hustle. We still have that blood in us. So yeah, that sets us apart for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. And obviously you spoken about leaving behind fear, and one thing that affects a lot of creatives is their lack of confidence. So from where you're from, for people that don't necessarily see as many people as yourself, like what would you say to a young child where you're from that's lacking confidence?
It's crippling. Like I understand that it's scary to have opinions on your craft and have people, and the fear of people not liking your shit, and you not actually, and you thinking you can't actually do it. But life is too short to have those things standing in your way. Like you don't want to grow up and have regrets on what should have been. So man, just do it scared, but do it anyways. Like what do you have to lose at the end of the day? You get me?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Another question we have for you is, when you saw greatness in the flesh, your perception of greatness, what did it look like to you?
When I saw greatness in the flesh, I've had stages of different greatness in the flesh. First greatness was when I made my first hit. That was first of all by Olamide. And it blew up like all across Africa, and I'm like, oh shit, that's my beat, that's my shit. And and from there it has been greatness after greatness, because I feel like I belong to like two different generations of artists and creatives. Like I'm coming from the Olamide era and the Nice era and the Two-Face era, and having hits from that era, and also you come to like the Fireboy era, having hits like Scatter, having hits like What If I Say, having hits like High by Adekunle Gold. So, and then you have like my era where I did the O2 2 days after release, and and 20,000 people were singing back at me. So I've had like different, I don't know which one to pick to answer this question, but I've had like different, phases of greatness in my life, and I'm grateful for every one of them.
It's fair to say you've seen a lot of greatness.
I've seen a lot.
So, coming on to obviously your biggest single at the moment, congratulations on Finesse.
Thanks, man.
So, what is your personal favorite reaction to that song? From someone that's come up to you and known about the song, or like you just mentioned the O2, what's been your favorite reaction to that song?
The O2 is one of them, but my dad's reaction would be my favorite. My dad called me one day. So my dad now is my biggest fan, because he keeps tab on everything, and he calls me to talk about everything. Every single video he watches on YouTube, every single thing he sees on Instagram was like, Alpha, shoti girl ye. So shoti girl ye, it's on Josie Finesse, just send this here, oh nice, gone. That's how like his reactions has been epic. When he saw the O2 video, he called me and he was like, "Bro, like that's a crusade right there." That's what he said. Like that's a crusade right there, and he almost teared up on the phone one time like that. Like this is the most emotional I've seen my dad, Finesse, and that's a blessing for me because we're having an amazing time right now.
Yeah, that's an amazing blessing.
Yeah.
Speaking of your father as well, like obviously I'm sure you have a lot of love for him, but in terms sometimes there might be a lot of negative influences that come in. So how do you personally turn hate into love?
I believe that hate is a distortion of love. I believe you hate something because you love something else, um, and I just try to pay back with love. Like I don't think I have hate in me anymore. Because, like I said, books saved me, and I've read a lot, and I've learned a lot, and I've unlearned a lot, and I just believe hate is a distortion of love, and it's alright. Yeah.
We're in London at the moment. You're here for a few days.
Yeah.
So what does the city of London mean to you?
London means a lot to me, because I've always been, coming into London and living for since 2016, since for all the Olamide concerts. I would produce those concerts and arrange the live band and do the screen graphics and the light sequences and all that. And London has always been really, really big in my heart. It's amazing vibe, amazing people, amazing folakers. You understand? For those who don't know what folake means, it's code name for beautiful babies and beautiful girls. But yeah, London has always been close to my heart, and it's amazing artists as well, and the music scene is actually beautiful as well. So yeah, London is big.
So speaking of your single, I know you have a lot more in the talk as you played for us.
Mm-hmm.
So do you personally feel like there's any pressure after such a big single?
Nah, bro. Nah. It's easy to fall into that trap. So how I do that is, I don't want to make another Finesse. You get me? Like I feel like every single song I put out and I make has a different story to tell. Like Finesse is telling its own story, and it is beautiful. And every other song I drop after Finesse will tell their own story, and it will be amazing. So that's how I move.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Last question we have for you is, we know you're probably working on a big project to come up.
Plenty big projects.
A lot of big projects. So, for your next album, like we would love for you to set the scene for us. Where should we listen to it, and at what time of the day?
For my next, okay, so I'm dropping an EP before an album.
Okay.
I don't think it's time for my album yet, because I'm like back home in Nigeria. There's another name people call me. They call me the album producer. They'll be like, oh, if you want your album to bang, just make sure Pheelz produces it. So imagine how my album would sound. So I'm waiting for maximum capacity and maximum vibe before I drop the album. But I'm gonna give you guys an EP. My EP is going to be, I call it a rainbow because it has different spectrums and different vibes and different emotions. There are some songs that you can wake up to. There are some songs that you can break up to. There are some songs that you can make up to. There's Finesse, there's party songs, there's club songs, there's love songs, there's vex songs. It's just me literally telling my story and, painting my life with lyrics. That's what the EP is about.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, man.
I'll see you again. More success in the future.
Yeah, I got representing.